Hey, it's Wacko Bob here, and I'm going live here with a live YouTube here, and we'll see how many people show up. I really don't expect too many people to show up for this, so because I'm not really advertising this, I decided to just do a YouTube live. Let's see what happens here. Let's see what goes on, and and I'm going to do this. This will probably get more archive hits, and even though I haven't been that active on YouTube over the last few years, and just really getting my bearings now, I wanted to come and do a little something here, and just really talk to people, because a lot of people are still on this kick of Calvary Chapel. Some people feel they have to defend it. Other people feel they need to be done with it. A lot of people are coming to judgment, when it comes to Pastor Bob Coy, and Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale. I've talked about the movement, and I didn't get too heavy on the movement. I didn't do what a Jacob Prash would do, and I love Jacob Prash. He's actually very good. But I do want to really get into this, because I've been reading up on a lot of different things on the internet where it involves Calvary Chapel as a whole, and I mean Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale. I mean, for a lot of people that don't know, Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale, big time mega church that has 18 to 19,000 people that attend there every week. It's where at one time before the Bob Coy controversy was about 25,000. There was a lot to be said, and a lot of things have been talked about with the movements and whatnot. And I do have to say this, where it goes with Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale. I really know that I don't have to say anything about this, and I'm going to be going into two different areas here with this. The first one being the fact that is Pastor Bob Coy back in town? Yes, he is. I talked with one woman here. Unfortunately, she deleted the thread that I had here, and she went and basically gave the information about Pastor Bob and Diane divorcing after his moral affairs that he was in, and his moral failing, and basically Bob Coy not even being a pastor anymore. He's just Bob Coy. Is he still an ordained pastor? I don't know. I don't know. The only ones who could tell us that would be would be Bob Coy. Is he still doing his thing? I don't know for sure. But it is what it is. I'm not passing judgment on him. I did find out, or the woman did find out, and I forget her name, and I apologize to her if she sees this. I apologize to you for not remembering your name right off the top of my head. But the issue is, is the fact that she did go and she did find out that Pastor Bob Coy is down here. There are some people that did see him and even speak to him, and he is back down here. He is divorced and whatnot. And I don't know anything else for sure. If there's a new plan, is Pastor Bob Coy back on his feet even after his divorce and whatnot? There's a lot I could really say where that one goes. The question though here too is this a thing we should really worry about with Pastor Bob Coy? Is anything any of our business? And why do I say this? Is because we're hearing what people have to say about Pastor Bob Coy. Diane Coy is out there. Diane Coy is with Women of Calvary Chapel. She's giving her testimony and whatnot. And you got some people saying shame on her for not working to save the marriage, and you got others saying, well, how do we know it was her? Because it was Pastor Bob Coy who was supposed to be going in and getting counseling somewhere in Tennessee, I guess. While she was in Vegas, she was working to keep the family focused and whatnot. And the Bob Coy was looking to save save his marriage and save his family and get into counseling. Then I find out that he did get a divorce and whatnot. And just did he give up on the counseling? Did he give up on it? Did he have another backlash and did he decide to get a divorce, or did she decide to get a divorce? there's two sides to the story, hers and his, or they both could be on the same page and just thought this was the only thing they could do. It wasn't that, it wasn't reconcilable. It wasn't something they could reconcile from. We don't know for sure. In the end, is it any of our business? The answer is no. I know I'd say I'm inclined to believe Diane because of what we see with Diane and what Pastor Bob Coy, what happened with Bob Coy. I could say that easily, but that would also be wrong too. I'm not taking a side. And again, this isn't any of my business. This isn't any of your business. This isn't any of our business. It really isn't. Will the truth eventually come out and we know what happened? Probably will. Probably will. Are there people that do know about it that may have mentioned some about it and I just simply haven't seen it, or any of us haven't seen it? Maybe there is. Is it worth looking into just to do the he-she blame game? The answer to that is no. The answer to that is no. So I'm not really worried. I hope Bob Coy is on his feet. I wish him the best of luck. I wish Diane the best of luck too. I would like to see what's going on with him. Is he going to be is he going to be part of a new ministry? Is he creating that? I would go and see that. If Diane Coy is going to be out giving her testimony and what she's doing now, would I go and see that? Yes, I would. So there you go there. As far as what's going on with Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale, and whatnot, people, including myself, have been very, very critical about it since, I would say, as far back as maybe 2007. I would say, and of course, everyone already heard me on my last video with what I had to say there, about the changes that were made. I think, now that they've gone to Doug Sauter, and Doug Sauter has made a lot of big moves, I think there was a lot of things done to not just make him the lead pastor, but the senior pastor. And I think a lot of the things that went into Fort Lauderdale that were very, very disagreeable are gone. I think he got more control of things. I think when I was going there, kids would not be in their respective classes in church. There would be people that were just there dropping off their babies and then going out and treating it like a babysitting service, forcing others who wanted to go into service have to go into overflow with their kids and try and take care of them and try and be any part of the service. And you also saw just some adults that would be there just because only during church time the cafe would be open or the Daily Grill, and they would just go there and eat. I like what's happening now with it. I think there's more going on to get the people going. I've talked about this. I like the new welcome center they have there, which they have people that do explain Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale to them now and what it is today. And even giving them a grand tour of everything too. So that the people can really understand it. And the information booth has gotten better. So they've really started to get to a point to where they've hooked on to the people to where if they're showing up and they want to make that a home church, it's not congratulations, it's another number. I think the corporate people that wanted to make Doug Sauter their the lead pastor, let alone the senior pastor, were looking for a corporate puppet. And I didn't think they got it. I don't want to say this for sure. I don't want to upset anyone who's maybe still there or anyone, or even Doug Sauter. I don't want to do that. But Doug, you're doing a great job, and I love the direction that you got things in. It's in a great direction, and I think the next chapter, the next big evolving of Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale is really starting to happen. And I've been very impressed with it over the last couple of years, I have to admit. Because I stopped going there. I think that the control that they've got there now and the fact that they're taking care of all the manners is tremendous. And I think you're slowly but surely starting to see the build to where maybe 25,000 people there again. Calvary Chapel, doing great. Their satellite locations are great. I've been to a couple of them. My favorite one is the Boca one. But, I do have to admit that, the people that were critical about it, and some are still critical about it today with some of the stuff that's been said on the internet, a lot of people are putting it down because of what they used to do, how they used to do altar calls, whether they agreed or disagreed with it. The fact that there's a lack of altar calls with that. I mean, this is not... This is not what this is about. I mean, if you're looking for things to be a certain way, then you're looking for something that's going to be almost patterned to your own personal pre-made religion. And that's not what this is about. This is about getting a message out. And you don't always need an altar call for someone to dedicate their lives to Jesus. You don't. Some of them can do it right there with an elder, with a leader. There'll always be someone around. Do you want to talk to Doug Sauter? Do you want to talk to Fidel Gomez? Do you want to talk to whoever? I'm just naming two names there. But I think everyone knows what I mean. And I love what's going on there. I love the attention that even the satellite locations get with their respective pastors, who will go there and share from time to time too. So you got something good going on. I think the nitpicking going on there is ridiculous. I could nitpick all I want to. Just like I was saying about Bob and Diane, I can nitpick any of the Calvary chapels I want. The ones the satellites that are connected to Fort Lauderdale itself. I could get down on Calvary Chapel Sunrise, Calvary Chapel Deerfield. I can come down on any of them as far as a nitpick goes, because you're not going to find everything that. No church is going to be that perfect. It's like this person that I keep arguing with over Christian music, or how a Christian should live, and how he accuses everyone of not being Christians because of their doctrine, unless they're the yes sir person to him, saying, yeah, I 100% agree with you. Who believes ever since he became a Christian and he's a minister, he's not a sinner. So he can't be sinning if it's him doing it. There's no such thing as someone that perfect, regardless of where you are in your walk with Jesus. Everyone's a sinner. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Partly the reason why you should give Pastor Bob Coy a little bit of credit, a little bit of leeway here to see whether or not he is going to do well. He is a sinner. He's not perfect. I'm not going to find anything special with Calvary Fort Lauderdale that's going to be anything perfect. Or even some of the churches I do go to that aren't Calvary chapels. Harvest Church Today, Victory Church, out there in Boca. I mean, I can find anything I want wrong with any of them. I'm not going to 100% agree with one church. However, to get back to points, there are those issues that I do have with Calvary chapels in different cities that do have their own thing going on that aren't connected with Fort Lauderdale, or even connected with the main church in Costa Mesa, where Chuck Smith was. Excuse me there. Blasphemy, Mormon. That's blasphemy. No, I'm joking. But to get to the point there, if I really want to say something about it, why isn't it all in one accord with what the movement is supposed to be about? Even during some time with Chuck Smith, I'm not knocking Chuck Smith. I will knock the situation going on now, with what's going on there now, with the fact that they're really looking to really pull the carpet right out from under Chuck Smith before his passing. I really think that they were. I think it became a corporate thing. That's why I look at Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale, and I used to say the one thing that happened there was, the corporate side of Calvary Chapel is not there anymore. It's really not, and everything, let's raise the prices here, in our cafe and our daily grill, let's raise the prices here. No, let's get back to being reasonable, because we are doing this for ministries. We do need to make profits, but let's not try to milk everyone for what they are. They got rid of the corporate side, the boards, the committee boards and whatnot of Calvary Chapel. Just get rid of that nonsense. I love what I see now there at Calvary Fort Lauderdale. I see a biker as an usher there in his biker gear. You're not trying to be the three-piece suit person, which is what I was doing when Bob Coy was there, and I referred to him as Rockstar Bob. Because that's not what it's supposed to be about. The main focus is supposed to be Jesus, and it's got to be about someone dedicated to doing something in the name of Jesus for that church, with Jesus being the focus. Not the church, not the people, not a set of regulations, not by appearance. Because some of that's just so secondary and so cliche, it's not even funny. And I don't want to say that the pastor in the three-piece suit is hopeless to minister to somebody, because they're not. Some of them are, others aren't. And just like some of them, that are going to be in their dungarees or their biker stuff or their surfer stuff, aren't really going to minister to that many people either. But they're going to minister to they are going to minister to others. So the individuality over at Calvary, I think, is great. No, they're not a Unitarian church. They're not even close to that. But I got to say that some of the critics need to shut up about things. To look at the small things, the things that they're not doing, is stupid. To sit there and try and say that there is no thing here of scripture here for a board committee, there's no scripture talking about that. Oh, and the Calvary distinctives has this, there's no scripture about the Calvary distinctives. Stop playing games. Stop trying to play mind games with that one. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Forgive and forget, move on. Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale has moved on from Pastor Bob Coy and have gotten the church into the right direction. The next chapter in what's evolving with Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale is underway, and it's going great, and it's probably going to be the biggest part that really still give a lot of positive energy to what is supposed to be still the movement that Chuck Smith put together. So, enough's enough with it. Bob Coy is done. Doug Sauter is there. Doug Sauter is doing great. The corporate nonsense isn't there anymore. They've gotten rid of the things that were just too much to have, that was in some cases too ridiculous to have, and they got things right in place where it should be. They don't have Reach FM anymore? So what? So what? They don't have the Calvary Thrift Shop? So what? I talked about Calvary Thrift Shop with some of the things that went on there when I was very, very resentful of Calvary Chapel. I'm telling you today, Calvary Chapel is fine. Calvary Chapel, the movement is there. The bad apples are gone. Or if they're still there, they're in the process of going because they don't have the influence. And if they're going to still be the bad apples there, it's going to be because they're meant to be the good apples. And in the end, they're going to ripen up to be a good apple. There's an old saying, it's a Donny Osmond song, one bad apple, don't spoil the whole bunch. And that's just the truth. Give it one more try before you give up on it. Give it one more try before you give up on Jesus. Really, come on. It's not worth it to pass judgment. Jacob Prasch has talked about the good and the bad of Calvary Chapel. He's talked about the good things that are still in Calvary Chapel with some of the churches. He's talked about the bad that has taken over, with what we see going on with Hillsong, with what we see going on with Harvest Fellowship and Greg Laurie. To everything that you hear going on with MacArthur doing his judgment of Calvary and everything. We've seen the two different videos that have come out from Chuck's brother Paul. So everyone here knows what's going on. And if you go check out Moriel Ministries and listen to Jacob Prasch and even some of the others there too, to get the better understanding of what's going on. Jacob Prasch, I endorse you, buddy. I don't know if you'll ever see this video, but I endorse you. Maybe I will manage to connect with you, get you on my radio show, but it's great. But Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale, I don't care if I have to go and get Doug Sauter himself to come on my radio show. If I have to do that, I'll do it. I'll do it because the word needs to get out that Calvary Chapel. You can talk about all the Calvary Chapels you want. You can talk about the movement. Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale is right there. It is still there, and and it's better than ever. So critics, give it up. Give it up, critics. It's not worth fighting over. It's not worth arguing over. They're getting control of things because it needs to be taken control of. You don't need, you need to be in the right direction. You need to pray about things, to pray about what you need to keep, what needs to go, and that's that. Anyways, thank you for listening. Let's keep Calvary Chapel going. Don't lose faith. Don't lose faith in God. Don't lose faith in God at all. Let's be fair to Bob and Diane Coy. Let's be fair to Doug Sauter and Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale. And let's be fair and let's see what goes on. Yeah, the movement's being questioned with what's going on, but we don't need to worry about that. We need to look at the future and see what the future holds. Anyways, thank you for listening, everybody. It's been grand.